One of the biggest challenges most people have is time management, and that includes business owners. And it doesn't matter if you're running a side hustle while you have a 9 to 5 and running a family, or whether you're a full time business owner. Anybody I talk to struggles with being too busy, not having time for things that need to happen in their business, not to mention in personal life, and complains about it. The thing is, we all have the same amount of time, 24/7, 365. And within that time, we need to sleep, rest, and eat, and ideally spend some time with our loved ones. So, how do effective business owners and effective people do it? Run multiple businesses without getting overwhelmed and burned out within the same amount of time that you and I have. This is Maggie Perotin in a Diamond of Effect podcast. And today I will share with you how to take charge of your time, stop complaining that you're busy, and be able to create time on demand with my time on demand formula. This is something that I developed in my corporate career that is now serving me to run my business and also help my clients do the same. This is something I developed many years ago to help me run my business on the side while having a demanding corporate leadership job, do an executive MBA, take care of me and my family at the time without burning out. And now it helps me run my growing business while still living the life I want. And it also helps my clients to create businesses and lives that they want. So tune in and let's get started. Before I became a high performer and I really took charge of my time, I was probably like you or somewhere in between where I was busy all the time. I felt like I didn't control my days. I felt like I was just running from one meeting to another, from one personal commitment to another. And I was always lacking time. I was feeling overwhelmed, busy, stressed out, and really thinking that life and time were happening to me. But after I started implementing what I'm going to teach you today, total shift happened. Now I never complained I'm busy. It doesn't mean that my schedule isn't full, but it's full with intentional actions or intentional things that I want to do. It also allows for proper breaks and rest for me. My schedule also allows for personal commitments that are important to me. Now I know that I can create time for anything that I decide to do even if my schedule is full. And I want this to be you as well because it's such a better way to live your life and spend your days and weeks when you aren't stressed, when you aren't overwhelmed, at least not by your schedule. Over the years, as I started implementing the things that allowed me to take control of my time and therefore my days and my life, I developed time on demand formula that I teach my clients. And today I'm going to walk you through the main steps of that formula to help you hopefully either implement it by yourself and also see that it's not this magic thing that is impossible to do, that it's something you can completely implement in your life with a little bit of patience, commitment, and self compassion. The first component of time on demand formula is awareness. There is no change that we can ever implement in our lives and our businesses if we're not aware what is the current state and what's going on. And with your schedule and time, the easiest way to do it is actually track what you're doing for a week. So from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, just track what you're doing. I remember many years ago when I did that tracking, The amount of time that I was wasting, that was literally leaking through my fingers, and whether it was binging Netflix or unintentional TV watching. It's one thing when I was watching a movie with family or my husband and we intentionally planned for it. And it was a whole different thing when I was just coming back from work, very tired, putting dinner on the table for the family. And at the end of the day, just like vegging on the couch and watching things that I didn't even enjoy. I was getting mad at myself that I was watching and wasting hours of precious time that could have been invested differently, even if that was rest. So then the next day I could be more effective because my brain functioned better. So what I often see in others as well, when they do the tracker, we waste a lot of time on the phone. Unfortunately, in 21st century, we're all addicted in one way or another to our devices. And if you're not intentional in when you pick it up and what you do with it, it's very easy to waste a lot of time. Some other ways could be you're going to do grocery shopping 4 times a week and driving to the store back and forth for a few items when you could actually plan ahead and do it once a week and save a couple of hours. There's many ways as human beings we creatively waste time, but you want to know what those ways are for you unless you track your time. It's a well worth investment to do it. And that exercise alone will be eye-opening and will fix a lot of those issues, because once we know and our brain sees how much time we're wasting, it will want to fix that. I promise you. So that's tip number one. It starts here. You cannot skip it. I highly recommend you do it. The second component cannot be skipped as well. Actually, none of them can be skipped. But the second component is equally important, and that's having clarity on what's really important to you and prioritizing that, okay? Because you could track your time and let's say save 5 to 10 hours a week. But then if you're not clear how you're going to invest that time, it will fill itself up with other things that might not be important to you. Very much like our closet. At some point, we can clean it and organize it. And within a year or 6 months, it's full of clothes that we don't even know how they got there, that we're not wearing, and it's cluttered and things like that. It's the same with time. It tends to fill itself up if we're not intentionally investing that time and doing things that are important to us. You want to understand in business, what are the actions that I can only take a business owner that are moving my business forward, short-term and long-term, the ones that you work on your business, not in your business, and making sure you can prioritize that, right? Now, working in the business, some of those actions are important too, like serving your clients, for example, and fulfilling your contractual obligations. You need to have a combination, a healthy balance of both. And it's the same in your personal life. What are the people and the things that are important to you that you want to allocate some time towards it, like spending time with your loved ones, like maybe taking care of yourself, and whether it's a hobby or whether it's reading time or me time, whatever that is, you need to identify those things and start prioritizing them. Really, prioritization, it's a decision. It's a commitment. That's the mindset, right? If something is important to me, I'm committing to creating time to do it. Just think about if you decided today that you wanted to have a dog or a pet or another dog if you have one. If you got that dog, you would instantly commit to taking care of it. Even if your schedule was full up to that point, you would magically create time to walk the dog every day, wash it once a week, feed it every day, and so on and so forth. And that's because you prioritize having a pet You made the decision to have it and you committed to that decision, even if it was subconscious and you didn't realize you made those steps. So it's the same with every single important thing that we want to do in our business or in our personal life. I remember where I decided to start an executive MBA, something that I wanted to do for many years and didn't have resources first, then young kids, maybe that wasn't the best time to do it. Finally, when the right time came, I'm like, I'm prioritizing that. And also, very shortly after, I started my coaching business on the side while still being in a demanding corporate leadership role, having young kids at school. Then shortly after COVID happened, and yet I was able to do all those things without getting overwhelmed, without overworking and burning out, because I intentionally decided these things were the most important and I allocated my time accordingly. And you can do it too. So once you know what's important and you commit to it and you start prioritizing it, there is also some elimination that needs to be done. Hopefully, through your awareness exercise and time tracking exercise, you might have realized you are doing some things that shouldn't be done at all, and you need to eliminate them. We cannot shred time in a literal sense, but we can be very effective utilizing the time, the wake time we have. And that's through eliminating stuff that it's not important. For example, for me was the veggie couch potato thing I was doing a lot of days during the week. And that allowed me to allocate the time, shift my schedule, and do the things that I wanted to do, meaning my executive MBA and run my business as a side hustle before I moved on to that being full time. So you eliminate things. You also delegate to the actions or tasks or responsibilities that you might have that still need to be done. They don't have to be done by you as the business owner or as a family member. You can delegate them. Okay. There's different ways to delegate. If you're a newer business owner and maybe you can't yet hire a full-time or even part-time employee, there is a lot of fractional services that you can delegate different tasks to, like bookkeeping, like administrative support. You can also automate and use the technology tools to help you be more effective and much, much more efficient. There's so many AI tools right now that save hours of work if you know how to use them. And of course, if you're a business owner who now has a team, delegation to your team members will allow you to focus on CEO tasks that only you can do that move your business most forward. It's a matter of developing skill set and knowing how to delegate effectively to the right people, giving them proper tools, proper training so they can be effective and you're not the ones checking on them all the time or doing the job again twice because you haven't empowered them properly. Now, in your personal life, there's also things you can delegate. I remember when we decided with my husband to hire a housekeeper to help us with house cleaning because we found ourselves with small kids spending half a Saturday cleaning our home. And then after full week of work and then shopping and all those things, we found we didn't even have time for us. That decision freed a lot of time for us. And at the time, it's not like we had extra money to spend, but we just allocated our budget differently. I'd rather have that help than, let's say, go out or to the restaurant 3 times a month. I've had clients who were not maybe resource poor, but they just didn't think about it. So after a full week of running a business and dealing with a lot of things, they were going into homes, scrubbing toilets, cleaning and so on, and exhausting themselves with tasks that could be easily delegated. Especially If you have kids that are now in the position to have some responsibilities, you can employ them to help you, whether it's with cleaning, doing dishes, doing laundry, whatever that is. There is studies that show that children with responsibilities actually do better in life. Sometimes as parents, we truly want to do too much to our kids. So having them involved in the family life in a productive way, the contributing to the family will do them good. And I have to say, with our kids, we definitely give them chores to do. And I even employ sometimes my 13-year daughter in my business. If she wants to make some money and she's pretty good with technology, I give her things to do so she can make extra money. And then I get that relief and help. And I have to say, as my kids grow up, I put more and more responsibility according to their age. So I'll bring my daughter. She is a competitive dancer, and there's a lot involved in us managing her schedule, her questions, and so on. So I involve her in it because for me, doing it all alone would be too much. Her birthday party that we recently organized, I put her in charge of inviting her friends, following up on our VSP. She actually did the decorations. She was involved so much in organizing her birthday party, and she's done an amazing job at doing it. And it brought her fulfillment and confidence. So there is things we sometimes forget that we have family members, especially if you have kids, that you can involve them in for the benefit of all. Now, going back to team leadership, if you're a business owner who does have a team, but you find yourself overworking, being involved in everything day to day, that means you're not leading your team effectively. And maybe you don't have the high performing team that you should be having, the team who should be helping you grow the business, not adding work to your plate. I want to refer you to two Diamond Effect podcast episodes that are already recorded in the past that can help you troubleshoot that and hopefully make some improvements. The first episode is number 167, 5 indicators your small business team is underperforming. And the second one is episode 184, leadership strategies for service business owners, building teams that drive growth. Okay, so let's move on to component number 4 of creating time on demand. And that's now we're moving into weekly planning and time blocking. Once and created pockets of time that you had, but you were somehow wasting through different activities that weren't the most important. Once you also know what's the most important things you should prioritize, and you've delegated certain things and eliminated not important things, now you need to make sure that the activities or tasks or responsibilities that are important happen. And the easiest way to ensure that they do is by planning them a week ahead and time blocking them in your schedule. And why weekly planning is so important? It's just because every day our battery, our mental capacity and energy is limited. And the more decisions you make throughout the day, the faster that battery drains. So let's say in the afternoon, when we're naturally more tired after a full day of work, if you're trying to decide whether you should do something important in your business, follow up on that lead, or create this marketing campaign, or at least strategize about it, your brain will not want to do it because it's already drained. And because you haven't made the decision ahead of time, that act alone, making decision, takes your energy. So your brain will avoid it and you will naturally go towards easy things. Things like replying to emails or scrolling on your social media to check for engagement or whatever that is. But your brain will avoid doing more of a task that requires focus and uses brain capacity. What happens is when you plan a week ahead, ideally in a time when you have time and space, when you don't get interrupted, you make better decisions. You're in a position to prioritize better, to look at each decision from many different angles, to also make the harder decision of prioritizing what's important. And when you time block it in your schedule, you ensure that you actually have sufficient time to do it. You can be more realistic also about how much time I'm going to need to prioritize or to strategize that marketing campaign. How much time am I going to need to meet with my team and talk to them about plans we have or delegate the tasks that I need them to do. If you make those decisions on the spot throughout the day, you're really reacting. What you want to move into is proactive mode, proactive about how you're running your business, how your schedule looks like. And I've also recorded a number of episodes about that, how to properly plan in a way that it allows you to have flexibility when unexpected things happen. So you can look at Diamond Effect Podcast and go through those episodes as well. The fifth component of creating time on demand is making it a habit, making it the way you operate day to day, week to week, and who you are. So really becoming a high performer, somebody who is just very effective with how they utilize their time by knowing exactly what they spend their time on, what's the most important, what they need to prioritize, being a very effective delegator and also planner and managing their schedule properly, right? Now, if you're in a position when you have a larger team and you have an assistant, they can help you guard that schedule. They can help you ensure that there's no random meetings coming into your schedule. And if you don't, you can set that up through technology as well in order to get to the point where creating time on demand and being in charge of your days, being in charge of your weeks becomes who you are. You need patience. You need that consistent application of the first 4 steps that I walked you through and patience, but also self-compassion. Nothing that we do first time is perfect, right? There will be bumps on the road, and you need that self-compassion to be okay with things not working exactly how you want them to work and not throwing the baby out with the bathwater saying, hey, weekly planning doesn't work because I tried 2 times and it really didn't work. It is the hardest part, but it's so worth doing it. I remember when I went through my high performance program. I didn't get one-on-one support from anybody. I had to implement it on my own, but I was very motivated to change the way I operated. So I did it. But within 3 months, my life completely changed for the better. And I couldn't believe that those small changes over 12 weeks could make such a difference. So the work you put in towards it, it's worth it. I promise you, not only from my own experience, but all my clients' experiences. Now, if you can't do it alone, that's okay. That's why I'm here to help. Whether you are a brand new business owner trying to juggle your job, your life, and your business, but really wanting to grow your business and get to the full-time income with it, I can help you. My Diamond Effect group is perfect for that, where we cover not only creating time for demand and being able to manage everything you have on your plate, but also we help you with marketing and sales systems and really get your business foundation very strong where you're making consistent income. And if you're a more established business owner who is struggling to keep up with everything that's going on, I can help you with private one-on-one coaching packages where with my top CEO formula, we go through what's going on in your business. I help you become a high performer as well, get your team to high performance if you have one, and not only grow your business, but also set it up in a way where it becomes a sellable asset because then it can function without you. That means you can take vacation. That means you can have a Sunday with a family without being on the phone every 5 minutes. So all you need to do is just reach out to me, schedule a free consultation, talk to you next week.